ランマランマで日が暮れる君と明日からラン
Ranma 1/2 is an incredibly popular manga in Japan. Even before I was into import gaming or really understood the differences between the regions, gaming magazines couldn't help showing off Ranma 1/2 licensed titles. I will admit that the concept is intriguing. It's based off of a boy named Ranma who finds this magical hot spring and falls into it. Upon doing so, he now transforms into a girl whenever he gets wet and has to find hot water to come back. Aside from the wacky antics that happen to Ranma himself, there are other equally odd characters ranging from a loudmouth shapeshifter to a giant panda. Ranma 1/2's popularity can't help but bleed into video games, especially since the art style lends itself so much to the medium, and the results, as you can imagine, are varied. This is not one of the licensed stronger examples. There are two main modes to pick from, a main story mode and a cow pass mode. The story mode follows along in what I believe to be the origin story from the manga. When the gameplay begins, you're playing a side-scrolling beat-em-up where most enemies die in one hit. Additionally, platforming becomes part of the obstacle course, and it all wraps up in a boss fight. Right off the bat, I was not pleased with this game. The controls are a bit too loose, especially for a title so clearly focused on sharp reflexes to overcome the cascade of enemies right out of the gate. Not only that, but the hit detection is incredibly poor, and it's possible to be punching at enemies and hitting nothing quite often. Even the platforming falls short with random unfair jumps and obstacles that I never figured out how to overcome outside of dying and starting up beyond the challenge. The story mode most reminds me of the NES game Karate Kid, which is notorious for being a terrible LJN published licensed game on the platform, and Ranma 1/2 also follows suit. If you opt for the Cow Pass mode, you are given a seemingly endless dash of underground levels that each contain a series of damage-inducing traps followed by a boss. Surprisingly, this was a bit more fun, but every time you lose all 3 lives you have to start over at the beginning, so its value is a mere half an hour tops. I know this is the age of challenging games to elongate their value, but the challenges here are often unfair, and I'm not even sure memorization of the levels would help. In short, this all feels like a cash grab with a popular property. Graphically, the game is okay, especially with the anime-esque cutscenes, but they definitely don't impress. When compared to the detailed bosses, bright backgrounds, and parallax scrolling of Valis 3, it's understandable that you might assume the two games are on different consoles. It's just another example where corners were cut. The soundtrack is understandably solid, with the Red Book audio shining through on the game's song-based soundtracks and pumping beats for levels. Again, like the graphics, it's nothing that impresses, but at least the music seems like something that could only be recreated on a compact disc. Despite the game being completely in Japanese, there isn't enough dialogue or exposition to think that any player couldn't just pick this up and have a go at it. Unfortunately, there's not much fun to be had, and in a short time, the frustration will probably have you seeking a better game.